case that one put you to sleep, we'll wake you up with this one. I don't think it needs any introduction. We're going to change gears again a little bit. Claudia and I have lived in the Ozark Mountains of Arkansas for the last 27 years for her, 28 years for me. We both were born and raised in Tennessee, but you probably can't tell that because we don't have that accent. We've been in Arkansas too long. It's hard to live in Arkansas in the mountains that long without picking up some of that accent, and that goes for music as well. Anyone here ever lived in the mountains? No? You're all flatlanders? Are you serious? None of you ever lived in the mountains? Oh, you've been? You've been to the mountains, okay. And back, okay. Well, I had this brainstorm about doing a CD with Ozark Mountain strings. I thought it'd be kind of fun. And I asked this one fellow who was, his name was Moon Mullins, you can tell we're from the mountains, okay. He was at the time the international champion of champions with thumb-picking guitar. Does anyone know what that is? It's kind of the Chet Atkins style. And he had this amazing testimony. He had gone to Wildwood to deal with his diabetes. One of our church members referred him to Wildwood, so he went. He was on the verge of losing both of his legs, and all that because of his extreme diabetes. And so he went to Wildwood. He came back with total control of his diabetes through diet alone, and a pocket full of tracts for Wildwood, and he was sharing them with other friends that he knew that could benefit from that. So we had him at our radio station to do his testimony. It was a time when Governor Huckabee, Mike Huckabee, had lost about 100 pounds, and every Friday he did the governor's program address to the state, and it was on our radio station, and he was always talking about losing weight. So I brought in Moon Mullins to talk about his. Anyway, When we were done with all of that, I asked him what he thought about marimba and Ozark Mountain strings. And he said, "What's a marimba?" I've never heard of a marimba. So I played a couple songs out of the computer for him there, and he thought they were real purty, he said. So I said, "What would it take? What all would be involved in that? I don't know how to, the pricing or anything like that." He said, "Well, it's for him, right?" I said, "Yes." He said, "Why don't we just do this together? And when you're done, give me 100 CDs to carry around with me, and we'll call it even." So, 2 months later, we came out with this CD. I call it Classic Gospel Memories. And he introduced me to another fellow who also did strings with us. The two fellows did the strings. His name was Tim Crouch. He's in the top 5 in the nation with stringed orchestration out of Nashville. And he lives in Strawberry, Arkansas. Neither one of them could read a note of music, and neither one of them had ever had a music lesson. But listen to how they play. Not listen to the marimba, but in the back of your mind, listen to the strings, okay? And then we'll see if you think that Mountain Strings works with concert grand marimba. I'm going to start with Precious Memories, and it's not memories, it's memories. Okay. Does it work? No. This is actually my best-selling CD. It's so unique. The producer said he'd never done anything like it before. I said, well, good. I have a unique product here. This next number is a medley of two songs, Precious Lord, Take My Hand, which everyone knows, and Jesus, Hold My Hand, which probably none of you know, or do you? Have you heard Jesus, Hold My Hand? See, if you're not from the mountains, you wouldn't know this one. It's a gospel song, and Precious Lord is a sacred song. I mean, they're similar, but in different genres. But anyway, the second song is very happy. All right. modulates up a little bit, and then the banjo kicks in. It's like a double whammy, a double happy. And now we'll slow back down. This song is was made famous by Squire Parsons. I don't think he originated it, but it's his signature song. To get permission to, well, I wrote to him for permission to record it, thinking he was the original singer, but I'm finding out he wasn't. So why did he charge me all that money to get a license? But this is just now coming home. Well, anyway, it's special for me because he asked that I send a CD. When I'm done with the project, send him a CD. He wanted to hear how it turned out. 2 weeks later, after I sent him the CD, sorry, 2 weeks later, I got an email from him personally saying how much he really enjoyed this arrangement of his signature song, Sweet Beulah Land. Does everyone know that song?
Yeah.
Okay. It's a simple song. What I like is simple beauty. For one thing, it's easier to play. Bill, don't laugh at me. He's a very complicated pianist. I go into simple beauty. Okay. But it's very simple chording, but it's just a beautiful song. Sweet Beulah Land. My wife says never talk with these in your hands. Because they end up doing things like this. loud now that someone wants to ask the question. What's the question?
Why the colors?
That's the question. All right. It's usually some little boy on the back row. You're almost there. The different colors represent different densities. Some of the mallets are sharp and some are very soft. You notice when I played the Lord's Prayer, you didn't hear much mallet noise. You just heard the beautiful melody and the harmony because they're very soft mallets. These I call my happy mallets. They're on the other end of that spectrum. So we're going to play another happy song, Springs of Living Water. And it does have an Ozark Mountain flavor. Springs of Living Water.
Yes.
Deborah, would you like to join me?
I got to tell on Bill. Bill and Patty are going to do some duets probably next weekend, the week after. We believe so. So, come on back. And part two of this is, I was thrilled to see Claudia and to see Ron. And we have an acquaintance and an interest that we share. And so I call him on the phone, the next thing he says, "You want to sing?" And I said, like, you know, I'm older now, I don't sing so hot.
I'm older, I still play.
And you play so well.
And last I heard, you sang quite well. We met up in Michigan at Michigan Camp Meeting years ago. And it was just really neat to meet her and her husband, to get to know them. And when she called me today and said, "You're going to know me when you see me." And I said, "Who are you?" Wow, this is just too cool. All these people that I know here in New Smyrna Beach. This song is "Do You Know My Jesus?" And I usually, no, I haven't memorized those lyrics, but it's a wonderful message, so I asked Deborah if she would sing it while I play it.
So pray.
I'll turn this volume down a little bit
next week, we do this a lot. We don't get Ron and Claudia back, but we're here. We do a lot of singing, but 6:30, 7.
Well, since we were having a commercial break, I'm going to have a commercial. How about that? I'm going to share my testimony here in a little bit, but I represent a ministry called Coming Out Ministries. And you can probably tell by the name of it what we deal with. We are taking the gospel of Jesus Christ to the gay community. This is a global community. Jesus said that this gospel of the kingdom must go to every nation, kindred, tongue, and people. There is a global community and a global culture that desperately needs to hear about salvation from sin. There is a myth out there that even the church tends to buy into: once gay, always gay. Satan thinks he's so clever, he's found one issue where he thinks he has God over a barrel,